time.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I make sure that my legends get a payoff.
Totally do.
They get their money's worth.
Yeah, man.
Thank you. Thank you, Lauren.
Media, you're kicking ass. Talking about sounds like Dondy. And I got two questions. Why wouldn't you just be endorsing him? And also, are you talking to Mayor Adams and the governor?
With respect to affordability, in my opening day remarks here in the House of Representatives, I was very clear that House Democrats were going to focus on lowering the high cost of living.
Don't like. It's a negative commentary on a certain group of people for absolutely no reason. I actually don't Okay. This is Lauren. Okay, let's get into it. This video is on Tyler Perry, and why the music is scrolling back up. Oh, because I have two screens on. Give me 1 second. Let me fix that. Let me fix that. Let me fix that. And there we go. All right. Okay. It's been a little bit because I have a cold, but let's get it right into it. So Alex Spiro has been hired as Tyler Perry's attorney. And the reason that that's a big deal is because Alex Spiro is a really, really good attorney on this particular thing. I think he's a good attorney on almost everything, but he definitely is the attorney to hire for the situation that Tyler Perry is in right now. So I guess it was about 3 months ago, there was a guy that turned up and accused Tyler Perry of a Me Too thing, and of course filed a $260 million lawsuit. And the attorney that is part of that case, of course, pops up again with a second person for another civil lawsuit for over $70 million. You'll notice in these things a few things. One is that you always have to remember with civil lawsuits that the plaintiff can write whatever they want, or plaintiff's attorney can write whatever they want in the suit. They are shielded. They're shielded from defamation in whatever they write. A very important thing to remember, because effectively what is going on in these suits is that this is a battle, first and foremost, no matter what anyone says, in the court of public opinion. So no one really should assume anything until you see people's hands on Bibles and under oath. Everything else is PR. I learned that the hard way in 2019 when I was the comms director for the Lieutenant Governor of Virginia, Justin Fairfax, when he was hit with two things that, quite frankly, zero proof presented, all PR. You had huge PR firms in the background. And then, of course, Justin Fairfax, the then lieutenant governor, keeps saying over and over again that he wants to bring it to prosecutors, have a full investigation. He will answer all questions. And of course, his accusers run for the hills the minute he keeps saying that, because that is the moment of truth. That is the moment of consequence when people have to deal with, if they're not telling the truth, consequences. They don't have to deal with any consequences when an attorney files a civil lawsuit for $260 million or $77 million and then sits and waits. Tyler Perry, as I think most people know, is a billionaire. And I don't think it's coincidental at all. And this is where Alex Spiro comes in, that all of a sudden, all the people with huge amounts of money who are billionaires are suddenly being accused in Me Too situations. This is a rare example of two gay men being involved. That's typically not in news, and you're going to see a different tone because of that. In fact, you already do see it this morning. CBS News effectively acting as Tyler Perry's defense counsel, which certainly wasn't the case at CBS and for Gayle King and all the rest when it was Justin Fairfax. They were trying to prosecute him with no evidence whatsoever. But with Tyler Perry, it's certainly much different. But in both cases, what should have happened is people need to really wait for evidence. They need to reserve judgment. They need to be very aware of the fact that people who have huge amounts of money, like Tyler Perry, they are going to be the targets of certain behavior. There's no doubt about that. And I don't care what anybody says. Alex Spiro, of course, represented Jay-Z, who had to deal with the allegation that came out against him, which I will not repeat because I just feel like, why are we promoting allegations that are not proven to be true that then go around the world with no evidence whatsoever? And of course, everyone's disappeared now because they couldn't get the money out of Jay-Z. And Jay-Z, like Tyler Perry, has enough money to hire the best attorney that he can. In this case, it is Alex Spiro once again. So at any rate, 3 months ago, attorney files lawsuit, $260 million. Guy gets on ABC. He talks. ABC asks a lot of questions. It gets real quiet. It was like 3 months ago. Now the same attorney is back again. And, wow, what a coincidence. Oh, now it's $70 million. Now remember that if Tyler Perry were to settle, let's say he were to settle, which, by the way, I hope he doesn't. If it's not true, I absolutely hope he doesn't. But if he did, let's say he settled for $10 million, that attorney is probably getting 40 or 30% of the $10 million settlement if there was one. I suspect there won't be one. Not with Alex Spiro sitting around, because I just think that this is going to be, given the first statements of Alex Spiro, this is going to be a fight. It's interesting to note that you're not hearing anything about, hey, let's duke it out in court, and I can't wait to get to court to prove that Tyler Perry's guilty. You're not hearing any of that because it is clear as day that this entire fight is supposed to happen in the court of public opinion, and before and the entire battle is in fact the settlement money. Okay, so here we have it. You have two people out there saying stuff. You have a attorney hired by Tyler Perry who's quite good. I mean, just really good. And in fact, I think I'm going to start a Alex Spiro fan club. And I just think that this is now the new way to litigate without litigating. You notice that none of this is going to court. None of this is going to trial. It's all being talked out before we get there. Because, in fact, the entire play is likely the allegation itself will embarrass him, put pressure on him. He'll settle quietly in the background. By the way, there's also a Smokey Robinson situation in the background, totally unrelated to Tyler Perry. But again, somebody with a ton of money who gets accused. Now this thing is moving forward, right? And it's like, wait a minute. Most people would say it would be a lot easier to simply settle and move on. Because in fact, when you have this amount of money, you'd rather do that than see your name in the paper every single day with this type of allegation, particularly this type of allegation. And it's just a lot less embarrassing. In a lot of cases, what happens is people lose money, they lose deals, they lose business over these types of allegations. I frankly think for Tyler Perry, that's unlikely to happen, but you never know. You never know. I don't know the details of, obviously everything he's working on to know one way or the other what his losses might be or not in this situation. But it just seems to me that this now is the new way to very easily. I mean, I think Gloria Allred was the one really that invented this type of thing because it's just sort of, you've got to be kidding me. Where is the evidence? And of course, it really doesn't have to be because we live in a technological age where this type of information goes around the world in seconds. And everyone knows that. Everyone knows that. The plaintiff's attorney knows that. The accuser knows that. And here we are. This is a small clip from ABC. The first accuser about 3 months ago.
Lawsuit against media mogul Tyler Perry, detailing the alleged sexual harassment and assaults he says he endured.
That's when he pushed me up against the wall and grabbed my ass again.
Dixon starred as Dale in Tyler Perry's BET series, The Oval.
So anyway, who knows whether or not any of this is accurate. Again, I am not a fan of assuming anything without real evidence, real testimony, hands-on Bibles, and all that other stuff. I'm old-fashioned. I'm sorry, but I'm old-fashioned, and I know that a lot of people, we just have to believe people, we just have to believe whatever happens. No, we don't have to believe whatever happens. We have to believe what the evidence says happened. Okay, so I'm not a big fan of that. Now, the second accuser we've got as of yesterday, December 29, once again TMZ leading the way in terms of finding things out. And I'm sure that Tyler Perry has a very good PR team back there. Typically, what happens in these situations is that the accuser's PR team is leaking a bunch of stuff to the media, and it blows up and it detonates and does all this stuff. You can see that Tyler Perry likely has, I don't know this for sure, but he would be foolish, and he's not foolish, if he did not have a PR team in the background leaking information to the media, because the media has to be spoon-fed everything. You basically have to write the story for the media at this point. And the TMZ story yesterday alleges that the text from this accuser asked Tyler Perry for money. And then, of course, typical TMZ, they have the actual text message from the accuser, Mario Rodriguez. Brother, haven't been feeling okay, confused and ill, nauseous. I got blood work. I think it's my teeth. I know it's none of your business. I don't know what to do. I know I promised you I would never ask for anything. But if it is what I think it is, I don't think I could do it on my own because I barely pay my bills, scared as fuck, don't know what to do. I think I can't get sepsis like my dad and pass away. I don't even want to mention it because I don't want to make it real. And, he then keeps writing, my dentist is supposed to take care of this in Beverly Hills, but he's in prison for fraud, which is interesting. I've always been healthy, but lately I've been waking up confused and dizzy and a bunch of stuff. I just can't go to the doctor because I can't even afford it. That's a sad thing, by the way. Just as an aside, Mario Rodriguez, I know it is not to have dental insurance. I understand what he's saying, but it's interesting. He brought this to Tyler Perry. Remember that he has accused him and filed a civil lawsuit for over $70 million. And then he's writing this to him. Just know that I love you and I thank you for everything. I appreciate you to the moon. You got my Mexican ass out of a lot of bad places, and I just want to tell you thank you. I can't buy you anything, but I just want to tell you your boy right here appreciates you more than anything. Straight from my heart, bro, nothing I wouldn't do for you, man. Always enjoy the time, and I hope to see you again soon. Now, does that sound like a person that's accusing somebody who has sexually assaulted them? It doesn't sound like it to me. I'll just say that. And this apparently in the blue is Tyler Perry responding. Happy Thanksgiving, my friend. Yep, you've been through it. I'm glad you're doing well. You don't have to give me a thing or pay me a thing. I'm just glad you're good. And so that doesn't sound to me like somebody who is the victim of some crazy stuff, right? I mean, let's just face it. And then we have Alex Spiro in a quote in the TMZ piece This is nothing but a $77 million money grab scam. Um, we've reached out to Rodriguez. So far, no word back, says TMZ. But actually, I think he did respond. Let me see if I can find that. I think he did respond. And at any rate, that right there is, I think there hasn't been a case that I've seen in a long time. And certainly the Justin Fairfax case. There were phone call contacts back and forth by somebody that CBS threw up on the air and said, "Oh, he did all these things to me," and then she calls him later to meet her mother in New York. I mean, what are we talking about? And so, um, this is a situation where the media loves getting into these stories. They love putting them up. They love getting that traffic from these stories. But when the details come out, let's see what happens. There was this is a double down story. This is it right here. So this is today, which it is. No, actually, it's yesterday. This is yesterday. Accuser doubled out. Yeah, this is yesterday at 5:50. Today is December 30, by the way. December 30, 2025 at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. Mario Rodriguez, the man who accused Tyler Perry of sexual battery last week, says friendly text messages the two allegedly exchanged don't undermine his claims. Of course, they undermine his claims and are consistent with his account. The model actor told People, "I want to briefly respond to what's being said about me right now. People are pointing out messages that were polite, grateful, and vulnerable, and trying to use it to discredit me." I don't know that they're using it to discredit him, but it's common sense that if you're suing somebody for $77 million and saying that you're the victim of something, and you've written them these types of text messages, which are thanking them and saying that this person has done so much for you, that is not consistent with what a victim would do of anything. So is anyone trying to discredit? I don't think people are trying to discredit. It's common sense. It's common sense. And here's here is TMZ. We broke the story. The texts allegedly show Rodriguez asking Perry for financial help to address a dental health issue. The messages also appear to show Rodriguez thanking Perry repeatedly for his support and friendship, which is exactly what the messages show. The texts were allegedly sent before Rodriguez filed a sexual assault and sexual battery lawsuit against Perry on Christmas Day. Did he file on Christmas? Wow. Accusing the movie mogul of making unwanted advances. In one instant, alleging grabbing his junk. Okay, so the bottom line of this is why you have to wait. You have to wait to see the evidence that comes out. And of course, I guarantee you that this thing never makes into inside of a courtroom. We never get to a point where hands are on Bibles. We never get to a point of testimony. And yeah, I've been looking at guitars, I guess, because I see guitars on the right, which is part of the ad thing for for Google. At any rate, my thing is simply that Alex Spiro and the hiring of Alex Spiro, I think, says a lot. Alex Spiro is a tremendous attorney, and what you're going to see next is what a really good attorney does. You're also probably going to see from CBS, because I suspect Tyler Perry, if I had to guess, I don't know this for sure, probably knows Gayle King. We know he knows Oprah Winfrey, so I suspect he knows Gayle King only because of that. But I don't know. I don't know that he does. Of course, I can't really confirm that sitting here, but we do know he does know. He does know Oprah Winfrey. But at any rate, there's a bunch of. Let me just see if I can find it. CBS put up some text messages this morning about this story, in which they were like very, very, I thought, deferential to Perry. There's no reason not to be deferential to Perry. It's just very interesting to watch the differences. We go case by case. And I always say it really depends. It really matters who you are in these scandals. It really, really, really does. Because if you are somebody who is well liked and has a lot of media friends, you are definitely going to get a huge advantage here. And Tyler Perry does, I suspect, is very well liked. I've never met him, but I suspect he's very well liked, and I think that it's likely that he does know. Yeah, here it is. I found it. Yeah, here we go. Yeah. So this right here is a tweet from CBS Mornings, which of course is Gayle King's show. Again, I don't know if Tyler Perry and Gayle King know each other. We do know, of course, just from common sense and seeing the photos and the events and everything, that Tyler Perry, of course, knows Oprah Winfrey. So I'm making the jump that he probably knows Gayle King because Oprah and Gayle are friends. But I again don't know that. But here you have this tweet from yesterday morning. Actor accusing, actually it's probably not yesterday morning because that story broke in the afternoon. Actor accusing Tyler Perry sent text messages of gratitude and friendship years after the assault, which, that's an exonerating type of thing to tweet out. It really, really is. And that right there, I would just say is, really a great example of what happens when you are somebody that is well liked. I mean, they will put your evidence out there in a minute. I mean, with Justin Fairfax, for example, CBS was really burying him and really ignoring a lot of the evidence that was exonerating or certainly would call into question the allegations. And still, they put two people on the air with no evidence and no nothing to talk about alleged things that they say happened 20 years ago and 13 years ago, and there's no proof. And, to get back to Tyler Perry, we're carefully now. It shows you how far we've come with Me Too reporting. That was back in 2019 with Justin Fairfax. Now with Tyler Perry, it's like here we are in 2025. People are actually looking at, wait a minute, what are the details and what are the evidence? Text messages are huge because they're written by the person who's making the allegation. It's not just anything, and you've got this guy saying, "Oh my God, thank you so much, and thank you for all you've done to help me," and all this gushing compliments of Tyler Perry. And I'm sure that Alex Spiro is probably back there, making sure that got out, because it's just, this is the thing. It used to be that there was a time when hey, you could accuse somebody and you blow their life up so big that the people are either trying to settle really fast or they're trying to bring the thing to resolution really fast because it could really destroy your entire career. Obviously, in this case, I think the odds of this thing destroying Tyler Perry are like next to zero. But it's not a great thing to have happen, to have in the paper, have people reading these types of things about you, even if you survive it, even if it turns out to be okay, and even if life goes on and all that. I get it. Certainly Tyler Perry has the resources to get as much help as he can with this situation. But I'm very suspicious when I see the same attorney for both accusers, and then I'm seeing these ridiculous amounts of money. Are you telling me that somebody was worth $240 billion? Are you kidding me? You're telling me he did $240 million worth of damage to you? Really? That sounds pretty amazing, right? You got, by the way, usually a court have to prove that. You can throw these numbers up all you like, but you got to prove that $240 million worth of damage was caused. Here you have Associated Press. Associated Press is a very fact-based news organization. They're usually very good at keeping with the facts and sticking to the facts in these situations. I was actually surprised that they even did anything, because typically their journalism is not copying somebody what else wrote. Now almost all of journalism is like that, where you're copying what some other news organization wrote, in this case TMZ, because of course TMZ broke the story. But here we have AP back saying, hey, Tyler Perry's accusers sent messages of gratitude and friendship year after alleged assault. I mean, they're being fair in terms of they're covering, because the New York Times would probably never do this. They're covering both things that have happened. And hey, text messages show that Tyler Perry, Boo and Medea Halloween actor Mario Rodriguez who recently filed a lawsuit accusing the filmmaker of sexual assault, remain in contact years after Rodriguez alleges their interactions ended. He alleged that the interactions ended. Apparently, the interactions didn't end. Good for AP for catching that. And so now we have AP writing, "Whoa, what's going on here? You know, there's text messages." So it's good that AP at least followed up. A lot of times, what happens is when it's good for the accused. This certainly happened with Justin Fairfax as well. When the news is good for the accused, all of a sudden there's no story, and all of a sudden nobody wants to talk about it. So good for AP for at least following through, right? And now they write another story the next day after the first blow up story. They write a second one, they update, and they say, hey, ooh, wait a minute, we got more information on this, and we're going to tell the public, right? So that is the way that journalism should work. At any rate, that's today's news on Tyler Perry. I really think that it is important to wait for evidence and wait to hear not only his side of it, but let's see some stuff under oath in a courtroom. I guarantee you we'll never see it. I guarantee it'll never get that far, because these cases, and we saw this with the Jay-Z situation big time. We've seen it with some other situations. With the Jay-Z one was a glaring example of, oh, let's see if we get him to settle. You know, because again, if he settles for only $1 million, forget about $10 million, $1 million, that attorney is probably I guarantee you, at minimum 33%, maybe even 40 or 50%, maybe even half, which would be amazing. You also notice too in those text messages that the accuser is saying that he's having financial problems. I can't tell you how many times, in a crisis managing situation, the people we were dealing with who were doing the allegations and accusing were having financial problems. That comes up again and again and again. People are having financial problems, and all of a sudden they file a $70 million lawsuit. What a coincidence that they're having financial problems, and all of a sudden there's a lawsuit filed. So, I mean, am I saying in this case, there's no way for me to know. There's no way for you to know what's going on in somebody's mind or what happened 10 years ago or 3 years ago or whatever between two people. But there's some commonalities that I have seen in these stories with regard to people struggling financially. And certainly when I hear healthcare, a healthcare related thing, that is the most unsurprising thing in the world. And, you know, people are struggling with healthcare coverage, and it's not cool. So Tyler Perry, of course, helps this guy out. And here we have this, you know, ridiculously huge lawsuit. So until the next time, I can't wait to talk about Alex Spiro again and Tyler Perry. But again, let's see some evidence. Let's see some facts on the table. Now we're seeing facts on the table, and certainly text messages is hard evidence as far as I'm concerned. That's written in the hand of the accuser. Hey, you can't say that's in any way weak. So for me, I'm like, yeah, that's very interesting. Let's see what happens next. This is Lauren Burke. I've been out for a little bit because I've had a ridiculously bad cold, but now it's starting to get a little better. So I'll probably be back tomorrow with something. And happy New Year. And that's it. I'll be back soon.
Somewhere. What's going on? Thank you. Are you watching now?
Yeah. No, I was watching when I left, but it's excellent. I love it. I love the traffic's blowing up. You were in Brooklyn last night. Where?
I was in Bushwick.
Okay, my grandmother's house is in Crown Heights.
Oh, yeah.
So when I saw you, I was trying to look at what the pizza place was to see where
As soon as we got there, someone recognized the pizza place. They're like, we got to get out of here. Someone had
get out. It was great.
blown up our spot.
This show is freaking fantastic.
Thank you.
Love it. Love it, man. Love it.